You don't need perfect looks. You don't need fake charm. You don't need a smooth tongue or fancy words. You just need presence, stillness, and four words that hold more power than any line you could ever rehearse. Because true attraction doesn't come from effort, it comes from energy. When your energy is calm, people sense it before you speak. It's in the way you move, the way you listen, the way you take your time. Calm people draw attention without asking for it, because in a world full of noise, stillness stands out. When your mind is centered, you don't have to chase approval. You stop trying to convince anyone that you're enough, because you already know it. That quiet certainty becomes magnetic. People can feel when someone is grounded, when they're not desperate for attention, when they're comfortable in their own silence. Most people try too hard to be noticed. They talk louder, laugh harder, and move faster, hoping someone will finally see them. But the truth is, chasing attention only pushes it further away. The Stoic doesn't do that. He doesn't compete with noise. He becomes the calm inside it. He doesn't force people to look. They want to, because peace has gravity. It pulls things in naturally. These four words aren't tricks to impress others. They're reminders to return to yourself. They're like anchors, small, steady truths that bring you back when life tries to shake your balance. When you live by them, you stop needing to prove your value. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't listen. You stop fighting to be seen. And that's when people finally notice you. You become someone who doesn't demand respect, but earns it through presence alone. Someone whose calm makes others calm. Someone whose silence feels louder than words. Because here's the truth, the timeless, stoic truth. Attraction has less to do with what you say, and everything to do with who you are when you say it. It's the tone behind your voice, the peace behind your eyes, the strength behind your stillness. When you master that, you don't chase attention. You command it, effortlessly, quietly, completely. Lesson 1. I'm at peace now. Longer bends for things that don't deserve it. It means you've learned the quiet art of choosing where your attention lives. Because not everything needs a reaction. Not every comment needs a reply. Not every storm deserves your thunder. Peace is the decision to protect your inner world, even when the outer world is falling apart. It's knowing that calm is not something you find. It's something you create. When you truly embody, I'm at peace now, you stop chasing people who disturb your balance. You stop arguing to prove your point. You stop allowing the noise of others to drown out your own clarity. People feel that energy. They may not understand it, but they'll respect it. Because peace has presence. It walks into a room before you do. It speaks without sound. It carries confidence without aggression. And that's what makes it magnetic. In a world addicted to chaos, peace is rebellion. It's quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. It's stillness that says, I know who I am, I know what matters, and I refuse to be moved by noise. So when things get heavy, when life tries to drag you into confusion or competition, pause, breathe, and whisper again, I'm at peace now. Not as an escape, but as a reminder that calm isn't found when the world quiets down. It's found when you do. Because the one who is at peace doesn't just survive the storm, he becomes the stillness that ends it. Lesson 2. I trust the process. I trust the process. 4 words that sound gentle, but carry the strength of an unshakable mind. Most people panic when things don't go their way. They try to control everything, people, timing, outcomes. They want certainty right now, and when they don't get it, they lose balance. But control is an illusion. The more you chase it, the further peace slips away. When you whisper, I trust the process, you're not pretending that everything is perfect. You're simply saying, I believe there's purpose in what I can't yet see. You stop fighting the flow of life and start moving with it. You stop trying to force doors open and start trusting that the right ones will unlock at the right time. Look at nature. The seed doesn't rush to be a tree. It waits quietly in the dark. The river doesn't panic when it meets a rock. It finds another path and keeps moving. Nothing in nature forces itself. And yet, everything finds its way. That's what trusting the process looks like. It's not sitting back doing nothing. It's doing your best, then letting go of what you can't control. It's saying, I'll keep showing up, even if I don't see results yet. Because real strength isn't in control, it's in consistency. When you carry that kind of calm, people feel it. You don't rush your words, you don't chase answers. You don't crumble when life delays you. You breathe, you wait, and you trust that time will reveal what pressure never could. That energy, quiet, grounded, certain, is what makes you magnetic. Because faith has a frequency, and the one who truly believes doesn't have to shout it. Their peace says it for them. So when life tests your patience, whisper it again. I trust the process. Not because you know how it will end, but because you know who you'll become along the way. Trust doesn't make the journey easier, it makes you stronger, and the one who trusts becomes unshakable. Lesson 3, I can handle this. I can handle this. 4 words that turn panic into power. They sound simple, but they change everything the moment you believe them, because life doesn't ask if you're ready, it just shows up. It throws noise, chaos, doubt, and pain at you, all at once. And most people crumble under the weight of it. They react before they breathe. They let fear drive instead of faith. But power doesn't mean being loud. It means being steady. It means being the calm in a room that's falling apart. It's the quiet focus that says, I've been here before. I can face this again. When chaos comes, stay still. When emotions rise, breathe. When people test you, smile. Because real confidence isn't about proving you're strong. It's about knowing you already are. The truth is, anyone can seem powerful when life is easy. But true strength shows up in silence. In the moments when no one is watching, when everything feels heavy and you still keep going. When you whisper, I can handle this, you take your power back from fear. You remind your mind who's in control. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the master of your response. Pain doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're growing. Pressure doesn't break you, it shapes you. Every challenge is a teacher, every obstacle a mirror showing you what still triggers you. And every time you choose calm over chaos, you become stronger, quieter, and freer. Say it again, slowly. I can handle this. Not because it's easy, but because you've handled everything before this moment and you're still standing. You've carried heavier burdens, faced harder storms, and walked through fire that others wouldn't survive. So stand tall, breathe slow, move with quiet certainty. You don't need to shout your strength. You don't need to prove your resilience. Just be still and let your calm speak for you. Because real power doesn't roar. It doesn't fight for attention. It whispers, I've got this. Lesson 4, I know my worth. But your presence. Because worth isn't something you earn. It's something you remember. It's not built through likes, praise, or attention. It's built in silence. When no one is clapping, when no one notices, and you still choose to believe in yourself anyway. Most people lose their worth trying to prove it. They give discounts on their energy, lower their boundaries, and call it connection. But knowing your worth means you no longer hand out access to anyone who doesn't honor it. You start guarding your peace the same way you guard your dreams. When you know your worth, you don't beg to be seen. You see yourself. You don't chase people who can't meet you halfway. You walk your own path. You don't get stuck in rooms that shrink your soul. You quietly leave, because peace is expensive, and only the self-aware can afford it. Your energy becomes rare. Your time becomes sacred. And suddenly, the same people who overlooked you start to notice the difference. Because confidence built on self-respect is impossible to fake. It's in the way you walk, the way you say no without guilt, the way you speak less, but mean more. That's real worth, the kind that doesn't beg to be acknowledged. It just exists. It glows quietly, steadily from within. So when you say, "I know my worth," you're not declaring war on the world. You're declaring peace with yourself. You're saying, "I don't chase, I choose. I don't compete, I create. I don't wait for validation, I walk in it." Because people may forget your words, but they will never forget your energy. And when your energy says, "I know who I am," the world has no choice but to respect it. That's when you stop orbiting others, and you become the gravity they can't ignore. Lesson 5. I'm not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. 4 small words that feel heavy the first time you say them. But once you do, something inside you finally relaxes. Because for the first time, you stop trying to earn space that was never yours to fill. You stop auditioning for roles in other people's stories. You stop asking, "What do they think of me?" and start asking, "Do I even like who I become around them?" We grow up believing that being liked means being safe. So we bend, we shapeshift, we soften our truth to avoid rejection. But that kind of safety is an illusion. It costs your authenticity. Every time you hide your real self to be accepted, you trade peace for approval. And no approval is worth your peace. When you finally say, "I'm not for everyone," you choose honesty over performance. You stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for your standards, your depth, your boundaries. You stop chasing belonging and you start becoming it. Because belonging doesn't come from being liked by all. It comes from being loved by a few who truly see you. The truth is, not everyone will understand your silence. Not everyone will value your calm. Some people need noise to feel alive. You don't. And that's okay. The sun doesn't apologize for shining too bright. The ocean doesn't apologize for being too deep. They exist as they are, powerful, constant, unapologetic. And that's how you must exist too. When you stop trying to please everyone, life starts to feel lighter. You realize you don't need to chase attention, you just need to be authentic. You realize that rejection isn't loss, it's direction. It's life guiding you away from what isn't aligned. And suddenly, the right people start appearing. People who don't drain you, people who match your peace instead of testing it. People who love your depth instead of fearing it. So say it again, slowly, gently. I'm not for everyone. Let it free you. Let it remind you that your worth doesn't shrink when someone can't see it. You're not meant to fit into every hand. You're meant to fit the right one. And when you finally stop blending in, you'll realize you were never designed to be ordinary. You were meant to stand out in peace. Lesson 6. I release control now. I release control now. 4 words that feel like a whisper, but carry the weight of surrender, the kind that heals your mind and softens your soul. Most people spend their whole lives gripping tightly onto things that were never meant to be held. They overthink every message, every word, every outcome. They try to script the future, to bend life into their idea of how it should go. And the harder they try to control it, the further peace slips away. But when you finally breathe out and say, "I release control now," something shifts. You stop chasing certainty. You stop demanding guarantees from life. And in that moment, you create space for things to unfold naturally. Because control doesn't create peace, it kills it. It builds walls around your heart and tension in your body. It makes every moment feel like a test, every silence feel like rejection, every delay feel like danger. But surrender flows like water. It doesn't fight the current, it moves with it. And somehow, it always finds its way home. When you release control, you don't lose power. You return to it. Your breathing slows. Your body relaxes. Your presence becomes lighter. People can feel that peace, that effortless confidence. It's the energy that says, I trust what's meant for me will find me. I don't need to chase it, because control is rooted in fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But when you choose surrender, you choose faith. You choose to believe that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't understand the timing. Think of the river. It doesn't fight for direction. It bends, it curves, it flows. It moves past obstacles not by force, but by trust. And still, it reaches the ocean every time. That's what real power looks like. Quiet, certain, and unbothered. So when your mind starts to spiral, when your heart races to predict the worst, pause, breathe, whisper to yourself again, I release control now. Not because you're giving up, but because you're giving in to peace. Because peace doesn't come from clinging tighter. It comes from loosening your grip. It comes from believing that you are guided, even when the path looks uncertain. And when you finally let go, you stop forcing outcomes and start allowing blessings. You stop chasing and start attracting. Because the moment you release control, you return to your most natural power. The power of flow, the power of trust, the power that never needed to prove itself to begin with. Lesson 7. I choose peace over ego. I choose peace over ego. 4 words that seem simple, yet they hold the deepest strength you'll ever develop. Every argument, every misunderstanding, every test in life gives you 2 doors, peace or pride. Most people rush toward pride. They defend, attack, explain, prove, justify. They want to be right so badly that they lose what actually matters, their peace. When you choose peace, you take the higher path. You don't take every invitation to chaos. You don't respond to every insult, and you don't fight battles that have no meaning. You learn that silence is sometimes louder than any comeback. Ego whispers, don't let them disrespect you. Don't walk away. Make them understand. But peace whispers, let it go. Protect your calm. Keep your soul light. Choosing peace doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you care more about inner stability than outer validation. It means you've learned that not every reaction deserves your energy. Ego wants control. Peace wants understanding. Ego wants to win. Peace wants to grow. And while ego shouts, peace whispers, yet somehow the whisper carries further. When you live from peace, you start to see things differently. You realize that people project their pain, that anger is often fear wearing armor. You stop taking things personally because you see beyond the surface. You no longer match energy, you raise it. That's what real power is. Not meeting chaos with chaos, but meeting it with calm so grounded that it disarms everything around you. When you say, I choose peace over ego, you're not giving up. You're saying, I choose to protect my energy. You're saying, I choose clarity over confusion. You're saying, I refuse to let small moments pull me out of my higher self. And that choice, that restraint, is what makes you unforgettable. Because calm is rare, grace is rare, and the one who carries both stands out in every room. So next time life tests you, pause, breathe, don't react, respond. Let your silence be your strength, because the loudest one rarely wins. The calm one always does. Say it softly, like a promise to yourself. I choose peace over ego. And when you truly mean it, you'll notice something beautiful. Nothing outside of you can control you anymore. You'll walk lighter, breathe easier, and move through life not needing to win because you've already won. Remember this, the most attractive person in any room isn't the loudest voice. It isn't the one trying to be seen. It isn't the one with the biggest smile or the boldest words. It's the one who's calm, the one who walks in quietly, and somehow every head turns without knowing why. It's not their clothes, it's not their confidence, it's their energy. They carry something the world is starving for, peace. And peace always pulls louder than noise ever could. The calm one doesn't need to chase attention. They don't need to prove a thing. They don't need to explain who they are, because their stillness already says it all. That's real power. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that soothes. The kind that makes people feel safe just by being near it. The kind that doesn't shout, but makes everything around it quiet down. So stop performing for attention. Stop overthinking how to be seen. You don't have to try so hard to be enough. You already are. Start living by these 4 quiet truths: peace, trust, control, and worth. Let them guide the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. Because energy never lies, and calm energy, steady, gentle, grounded, is impossible to ignore. Watch what happens when you slow down, when you speak softly but with conviction, when you stop reacting to everything that pokes at your peace. You'll see the world begin to shift around you. Opportunities open. People listen differently. Life starts to flow in rhythm with your calm. Because still water always reflects the sky, and still souls, they reflect power. So breathe in, let your shoulders drop, let your heart quiet down. And remind yourself, you never have to chase what's meant for you. If this message found you, if even one line made something inside you pause, then like the video. Share it with someone who needs calm power today. And in the comments type, I choose peace. Not for me, for you. So your mind remembers who's truly in control. Because peace isn't the absence of power, it's the birth of it. And once you choose peace, nothing and no one can take that power from you again.